I'm James Corbett of CorbettReport.com.
And I am James Evan Pilato of MediaMonarchy.com. Livestock is politically sensitive, but we need to deal with sensitive issues to solve the problem. We have got that story plus AISI, but first, rise of the right. Party of far-right populists set for stunning victory in Dutch election. Grabbing this from NPR. He's called Islam a backward religion. He's named the Prophet Muhammad a pedophile. He wants to ban mosques. And now Geert Wilders and his party poised to win the Dutch national election by a wide margin. Wilders, a politician who's made a name for himself through his anti-Islam and anti-European Union rhetoric, appears to be in the lead in the Netherlands election with the most parliamentary seats according to early results. The Dutch voter has spoken, said the 60-year-old in a victory speech at the cafe in The Hague. We will ensure that the Netherlands will return to the Dutch. Early election results show Wilders' Party for Freedom winning 37 seats in the 150-seat Dutch parliament, 12 seats ahead of its closest rival, the Labour-Green Alliance, led by EU climate policy veteran Frans Timmermans. Still, with fewer than a quarter of seats in the national parliament, Wilders will now have a shot at approaching other parties to try and form a coalition government. It won't be easy. Most parties have vowed not to govern with Wilders due to his extremist views. In other Votaluya news from mainstream media sources, right-wing nationalist takes power in New Zealand. Conservative former businessman Christopher Luxon, Luxon, sworn in as New Zealand's new prime minister on Monday after a decisive election victory in October. Luxon's National Party won 38% of the vote October 14, capturing 48 seats compared to the second-place Labour Party getting 27% of the vote, enough for 34 seats. The 53-year-old Luxon, who previously served as an executive in the airline industry, replaces far-right COVID tyrant Jacinda Ardern's Labour Party. And finally, for your far-right hat trick, far-right outsider Javier Milei wins Argentina's presidency. Javier Milei, M-I-L-E-I, won Argentina's presidential elections in provisional results, wrenching his country to the right with a bombastic anti-establishment campaign that drew comparisons to once and future King DJ Trump, all against the backdrop of one of the world's highest inflation rates. You can read more about Javier Milei on his World Economic Forum page. James, I'm not sure how you can be an outsider and a globalist stooge at the same time, but whatever, man. The people voted harder for hope and change, outsider candidates. And those outsider candidates can now say, take that, establishment, I'm now one of you. That'll show them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up, James. I know you know this because I've been doing this 16 years. You've been doing this 18 years, going on 19. So you remember back in the noughties, back when the alt media sphere was 1/1000th of what it is today. And what was the bright dividing line between conspiracy realists in the alt media sphere at that time and the coincidence theorist normies out there was that they still believed in the left-right, hey, we can put our vote in the slave suggestion box and we'll change things, man, and you're an evil libtard, you're a far-right Nazi. And those terms and those ideas and that voting and all of that still meant something. But now that we have come to 2023, and of course, more and more people are piling into the conspiracy realist space because it's undeniably true, they are bringing their normie politics with them. And they still believe left and right, they're really different, man, and we're going to get rid of those left-wing libtards and replace them with these outsiders. Oh, wait, they are World Economic Forum stooges, and they're literally on the same page. And I know people will hear this, and it will go in one ear and out the other. But anyway, left and right are two wings of the same bird of prey, and that bird of prey is coming for you. That is what this game is about. So I know, as I say, people will not listen to me because they've already decided, okay, I'm team red, I'm team blue, whatever. And hey, he's wearing the colors that I like, therefore he must be a good guy who's gonna save things and make it better. Okay, so just on a lark, just as an experiment, as I saw these different selection stories passing through my news feeds, I thought, hey, how about if I just take an issue and see just how much hope and change we're gonna get from these far-right wingers who are gonna take it to those libtard commies. And so I decided, okay, what's popping at the moment? Oh, I know. How about the Zio-Nazi ethnic cleansing genocide in Gaza? Where do these people stand on that? So I just typed in their names and Israel, and let's see what comes up. Prime Minister-elect Christopher Luxon hasn't seen any advice to suggest Israel isn't respecting international law in Gaza. No, of course not. With Israel flag in background, Wilders celebrates exit poll predicting major Dutch election victory. And, the creme de la creme, Milei's conversion to Judaism seals pro-Israel push by Argentina. Yeah, hope and change, guys. They're going to change that status quo. The right wing are there to sell the military-industrial complex version of the bankster agenda for globalism, and the left wing are there to sell the domestic terror. Those far right Nazi MAGA cap wearers are your real enemies, to keep each other fighting with each other so that we are still in service of the greater globalist agenda. Case in point, I was amazed to see what the riot craziness taking place in Dublin recently, of all places. My former home city for a year. And what was all this about? Oh, okay, so an immigrant, an illegal immigrant, I'm not sure, stabbing someone, going crazy, and you get all of these people protesting the immigration idea in Ireland and all of the demographic craziness taking place there. And so what happens as a result of that? Facial recognition by police could come to Ireland faster after Dublin riots. Of course, because people who had those civil liberty concerns about facial recognition cameras going up everywhere, now actually you can get both sides cheering for this, because on the right side of this bird of prey, you'll say, oh good, well, if we get the right winger in power, then they'll be able to use this to track all those illegal immigrants and get them out of the country. And the left wingers will be able to say, no, we're going to use this facial recognition to hunt down all those rioters and protesters and people who don't like what we're doing. And they can all cheer on the facial recognition. It's just that now it's even more important that you vote even harder, because you have to get that ring of power so you can use it to beat your enemy over the head. And if you don't, they will. And this becomes the life and death struggle that everyone's engaged in to get that ring of power. This is the essential struggle for your existence. And it is all a game that is being played to get you to give your entire identity over to an agenda that is selling you out to a globalist, bankster-led world. Yay, mission accomplished. I have not just no faith, I have complete faith in these political minions to do exactly what they are being placed there to do, which is to sell you down the river. And if you fall for it, you are a sucker.
It's the Steam Valve release. People are getting kind of pissed. People are getting a little uppity. Let's throw them some crumbs and make them think that there's a little bit of pushback happening in this system. Let's do the one step back while they'll do the 2 steps forward. And as we've been saying for weeks and weeks, travel ban, biometrics, get everybody on board to cheer for it. That's how we get going on this New World Next Week, episode 500.